Welcome back. We're unpacking what happened in the Winnipeg virus lab, this level 4 lab a few years ago, and what is the role China played in a potential leak. Joining me again is Peter Shawn-Taylor, who has written a two-part investigative piece on this matter. Peter, just before we went to commercial break, we're talking about these two Chinese nationals, and thank you for clarifying they were naturalized Canadians who,
Mhm.
had for a couple decades worked up the corporate ranks, if you will, in virology. And but then they caught the attention of CSIS. What happened?
Well, CSIS does insider threat briefings quite regularly with all federal institutions that have a national security implication. So in August of 2018, CSIS was meeting with the head of the National Microbiology Lab in Winnipeg, talking about sort of what to look for insider threats. And Xu and Cheng's name came up as they sort of fit a basic profile. So they said, well, let's do a little more research. And very quickly, they found lots of things to be concerned about. Xu had a Chinese patent in her name, which violates federal law. That federal employees are supposed to inform Ottawa if they have a patent anywhere in the world. Chang had all these really curious incidents at the front desk of the lab involving his research students. Both of them had a lot of foreign national research students. Most of them came from China. They were in and out all the time. They took care of that, so no one was supposed to look too closely. Anyways, the initial investigation said, well, here's some things, maybe we should be concerned about. They looked a little deeper. They mirrored their computers so that they could have a window on what was actually going on. This is full-on investigative espionage stuff by CSIS, and they found things that were concerning. And by July of 2019, which that was when it was formally known by the media that they had been escorted out of the premises because of these things, some connections with individuals that had ties to the Chinese military, et cetera. So then they were escorted off the property, and then the investigation sort of began in full.
So
And
what? Go ahead. Sorry.
no, by April 2020, that's when stuff really hit the fan. It was discovered that they had been participating in what are called the talent programs in China, which are, some people have described it as thinly veiled industrial espionage. China provides sort of rewards for Chinese researchers working in the West who can bring that information home for China's benefit by, wink, wink, whatever, whatever methods available. So a lot of it is stolen information through the talents program, and that's what really set off the alarms at CSIS and Public Health Agency of Canada, who runs the National Microbiology Lab.
I mean, this sounds like something out of a James Bond movie or something. It's quite strange. Apart from them being part of this talent program, what other uh, actions or things were uncovered that piqued the interest of CSIS or were considered a big faux pas or a security threat?
Well, certainly they were very closely tied, and Chu was writing papers with individuals from China. The Chinese military's top biowarfare expert, as described by U.S. documents. She was a co-author with her. All sorts of these research students who seemed to be in and out of the Winnipeg lab and causing hubbubs at the front desk for the things they wanted to take with them. A lot of them had Chinese military connections. And it tied into this. It's not just participating in the talent program, but all the things that were involved in this. The Wuhan Institute of Virology was very interested in creating connections with Xu. And then you mentioned the transfer of viruses in March of 2019, even after it was clear that they were being investigated because they had been interviewed by Public Health Agency Canada investigators. So they knew they were being watched. this transfer of 30 samples of Ebola and Henipavirus to the Wuhan Institute of Virology, which we later found out were considered crucial because of research projects that Chu
Right.
was actually involved
Oh my
in
goodness.
Wuhan.
Okay, I'm going to pause you there because we want to talk about that Virology Institute in Wuhan. We'll be right back.